What's good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony, aka the Senator of Chaos and Controversy, and I'm here to balance the scales. That's the main purpose and intent and the mission behind me doing these videos because things are often offset, and the things that are put on the table for the topics of discussion are off balance, especially when you have those in particular who spin certain narratives but contradict themselves upon doing so at the same time. Okay? What am I getting at? So, basically, this video is pretty much in a roundabout way addressing a comment under Brandon Tatum's new whatever show that he got an endorsement to do whatever. And of course, the topic that was brought up was, is America racist? And he had some guest individual on whatever. And of course, they regurgitate the same talking points, the black on black crime, and who do they fear most? Who is most likely to, you know, rob you or harm you or kill you, whatever, and, fearing your own people. And then Chicago is the main demographic that was brought up again without fail. So I was like, okay, and I commented under the comment section, because hey, you know what? I got to disrupt the echo chamber. I got to bring a different perspective because, like, every time somebody always, oh, yeah, I agree. Sometimes, goddamn, it's like listening to your own self talk. Like, if I'm wrong on something, I want somebody to check me and tell me, Tony, you're wrong. Do a little more research. Look more into this or look at it from this perspective and stuff with respect. Okay. And that's where the open outlet for debates and discussions come into play. So, you can expect what you expect coming from Brandon Tatum. It is what it is. But when somebody had the audacity to tell me that my comments is what creates division, first and foremost, yeah, I am very critical of a particular group more so than I am of the other. However, it's to get the understanding with providing some knowledge. So for those who don't understand why people from one group react towards the other group in the way that they do, you got to understand the history of this country, which people hate when you reference it because they're like, But we want to be able to benefit the position that we're in now if the sacrifices weren't made to break down the barriers that were put in place intentionally to exclude us from this country that people claim isn't racist, at least to a certain degree. Okay? And I look at certain examples where, and I reiterate this as well, there are quite a few talking points when it comes to Brandon Tatum that I can say I agree with. Let's take the topic concerning BLM, the organization, and the woman who's pretty much under fire for it, the founder, so to speak. And of course, I just recently watched the Young Turks. The I forgot her name, but she was kind of like trying to explain it, and I'll be sitting there like, when you know somebody is wrong, don't try to explain shit to try like soften the blow and make it. Nah, the organization pretty much exploited the misery of the victims, which brought about the awareness of an issue, especially when it comes to law enforcement, that has its own history that has been on a continuum, which I've stated, and nothing has been corrected. What has happened is that your word against the officers, now people got recording devices and other people to chime in just in case you don't have that phone to protect you when it comes to an officer filing a false report to save their own ass and pretty much ruin your life because they have the power to do so. And I spoke on this and people downplay the shit, and I hate that with a passion. When it comes down to certain things and it's my life and you feel you can control which direction my life is going to go by fucking lying because you can do so and fuck up my life, and I got to put forth all this effort to prove my innocence against your bullshit, it's a problem. And many people, which I find it kind of ironic, and here's where I'm going to start making comparisons. You get that group, the conservative individuals that are in the spotlight, that make themselves known with the rhetoric that they spew. America isn't racist, but yet you attach the Democratic Party as being racist. Okay? Contradiction. Okay? You use the situation with the woman under attack from the BLM because she knew she was wrong. She was fucked up. You don't exploit other people's misery for your own gain and profit. And this is the issue with us. Case in point. Now, one of the things that I heard, some of the rhetoric that I heard was, "Oh, white people are so bad, but yet you the first thing you do is bought $1 million home and surrounded yourself by white people." If I'm not mistaken, Candace Owens, you're married to a white dude. What kind of neighborhood do you live in? Is it predominantly or is it diverse? Brandon Tatum, you're married to a white woman. You got biracial kids. Is your neighborhood predominant or is it diverse? And just so you understand this, where I say people disregard conveniently and don't respect those prior to our existence and the sacrifices that they made, where we are and what we're able to do now, we couldn't do back then in a country that you said isn't racist. We couldn't live in neighborhoods that were predominantly white. We would get ran the fuck out, terrorized, houses demolished. Look what happened in Tulsa. And that was a predominant black area. But who fucked that off? Just saying. Denied bank loans to get a house. But America isn't racist. Why were there barriers put in place to exclude us to where we had to fight to tear them down so that it would benefit us today? And what's disturbing and disgusting, and I'll bring this up, as you have those like Brandon Tatum that'll sit there and chastise and criticize the black community, especially exploiting as well the negative half to paint a broad picture. How are you any better than when you sit there and say, when black people say what they say, when they point out the shit that white people do? It's cool when black people are criticized, but it's wrong when white people are criticized. And you make it a point to make it be known. Okay? But what I'm saying is, for the crime element that you like to bring up ever so often, to those who exist to be a talking point and used as an example for these individuals, those who made the sacrifices didn't sacrifice what they had when it came to their lives and the blood and their families, so you can do what white people have done to us. That's being downright very fucking disrespectful. Also, to those like Brandon Tatum, Candace Owens, and ABLs, it's very disrespectful to disregard what people have went through and act like shit don't go on in certain particular demographics. When they speak of cognitive distance or whatever you want to call it, out of sight, out of mind, as long as it doesn't affect me. But as I stated before, and I'm going to just say this. I used to be the type of person that looked down on people, didn't understand, was on my high horse, judgmental, acted like my shit didn't stink, thought I was better than because of my upbringing and stuff like that. Until those who I criticized, I became those who I criticized. And that shit humbled me real fucking quick. Now, because of that, I'm not the type of person that when I got to a point where I got myself back together, that I just continue looking down at those people with a sense of detachment, thinking that I'm still better than them. No, I'm better than what I was. Because I had to self-reflect and look at myself as being a flawed individual. Prior to me falling from grace and when I fell from grace. Now, I never wish, nor would I ever, would suggest or would want harm to come to anybody. However, since people like to walk on that path of Christianity, so to speak, what people don't include is those, how should I put this? Them life lessons. Sometimes them life lessons deals with losses. Okay? I am very curious to want to know how Brandon Tatum would feel if either how he raised his kids for whatever purpose, knowing the character of his children, knowing what they would do and what they wouldn't do, if ever they were in a position or a situation where they ended up encountering law enforcement, and the stuff that they downplay in regards to the interactions when they talk about these particular individuals who lost their life at the hands of law enforcement, if his kids lost their lives at the hands of law enforcement, what would be his take then? What kind of rhetoric would he spill? Or would he be one of those Negroes that are forgiving and make excuses for the officers who done snuffed out your lineage? I'm just curious. I really truly want to know. Or if in a country that is a country that isn't racist, if ironically you end up finding yourself in a situation where you're dealing with a racist individual who don't care about your public persona, the fact that you were of law enforcement, or the fact that you're married to a white woman with biracial kids, which probably infuriates them even further to go ahead and act out. And with it just so happens that those thug individuals that you criticized to no end was your saving grace to protect you from a white racist. I just want to know. I want to know. But until that becomes a reality, you'll sit there and conveniently detach yourself from those realities and spew the type of rhetoric that you do. Because people say you're tap dancing for butter biscuits. So it is what it is. You do what you gotta do. Whatever's your angle, whatever's your little niche, whatever's the shit that puts the food and whatever on the table. Hey, I'm not hating. Do what you gotta do. But again, how are you any different from exploiting those in the black community as you criticize those from the Black Lives Matter organization doing the same thing? Except what they did was get money from their exploitation. All you did was get followers and endorsements from your rhetoric and exploitation. How are you any different? What have you done for the black community besides speak ill on them? Always coming with the I told you so's. Always saying with the generalized statement, black people are so stupid. But what does that make you? Oh, that's right. You detach yourself from the black community. I'm just saying. So, and then anybody that challenges you, as I said in the video prior, you know damn well that how we, especially me, how I present it, because like I say, I sit back and I observe shit. I just let y'all just, and then when y'all start saying shit that ain't adding up, and like I said, it's the pot calling the kettle black. You ain't got no room to speak. It's like I was telling my friend today, I said, one thing I can't stand about people sometimes, if you are so immaculate, if you are so without any flaws, do everything right, and even with all of that, hopefully you're a humble person to not sit on some throne of entitlement to sit there and cast judgment on other people. Hopefully you're a better person than that. But people like cloak themselves with that whole I'm a Christian title as if that's some pass for them to still be fucked up individuals. Just saying. I don't think, nor do I see myself as being better than anyone else. I also understand that life is too short to take things for granted. I also am not a person here to be responsible for the great divide. I am the example of when people come together. Okay, I am a product or the result of an interracial relationship. My kids, despite that fact that my relationships failed with my kid's mother, I have kids that are biracial. So if I was so anti-white or got so much hatred towards white people, if I criticize a group, it's with the intent for them to see themselves, to reflect, and to do and be better. If I do, and how can they be better if they don't identify or see what they are doing or their behaviors as being problematic? If the intent was coming from Brandon Tatum, if his criticism towards the black community in the areas where it is more so needed for the criticism is with the intent for the people to be better, then okay. But it's not done for that purpose. It's the see I told you, see I told you, see I told you, see I told you. You a grown ass man. Kids do that shit. But and as I and as I as and as I was trying to process how I was going to put this together, it came to my mind about something too, because like when Ricky Manor was talking about Messi Jackson and Al Charlatan. Excuse me. Shout out to Ricky Manor, by the way. I liked your video. I did not know that YouTube was that petty where they have it to where they unfollow people. That's the thing that I don't get about YouTube. It's just like they're messing up, and it's gonna be not too long where this app is just gonna go boom, because people are gonna get sick and tired of them being censored, and you're gonna censor people to where YouTube is gonna be a thing of the past, like MySpace. You know, but then there's gonna be another app that somebody's gonna create that's gonna probably have some guidelines, but it's not gonna be as as restrictive. It only caters to one-sided narratives, and like give a pass to one side and silence the other side. I thought that this country was better than that, but we are just a slogan that contradicts itself. I get it. I see. But before I got away, when it comes to us, I've said before, we are our own worst enemy. And bringing up those two individuals, like, like many times you would hear Brandon Tatum or Candace Owens like criticize Obama. But if people can go back and remember, there were two individuals who thought that their mics were off, and they were talking mad shit about, you know, the what do you call it? Like I said, I don't follow politics like that. But he before Obama became president, when he was running for president, they were talking shit about him. And then they had to go back, retract what they said, apologize or whatever. Now, if Obama was voting for, well, running for presidency under the Democratic Party, and these two knuckleheads were supposed to be, you know, how should I put, excuse me, also ye faithful and loyal to the party as well. like Bernie Mac said, I don't know what the fuck to say about my people. You know, we different from night and day. um, but I don't know. I just sit back and I just be like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with us? Cause if it's one thing that Ricky Manor pointed out, and it was very, as he said, as I would say, the nail got hit on the head. Like, why are we the only group that tear each other down without any fucking care in the world? But you don't see other groups doing that shit. And then I never really like took the time out to like really think it through and process it as to when I heard many people say that. But it's true. We tear each other down. And no matter and then people wonder why they can't take why we're not taken serious. And oh man, I don't know. It's just I don't I don't I and I'll put this out there. I'll sit there and look at a person like Brandon Tatum. And I told him this in this comment section. A lot of what you say, along with Candace Owens and ABL and Ricky Manor said this too. You turn people, if your intent and your goal is to bring black folks to the Republican or the conservative side, because as I was told, many people don't understand deep down in the root of how we see things, black people are conservatives. Really, we are. But when they listen to certain individuals and what they're saying, it's like, are they talking about all of us? Or like, because you're saying like a black American, a black. That's like, you think black people want to hear that shit? If you're talking specifically to a group, don't clump us all into that shit. And if you're only going to speak negative and not speak positive, and you only invite people onto your shit to just go along with what that aligns with your ideologies about things and your perception of things, and you don't see nothing wrong in how what you say causes division, then there's a problem with that. Because you turn people the fuck off. And yeah, you got some people that'll be like, yeah, maybe you should listen to, but I'm just like, yeah, there might be some truth and validation to what's being said, but when you start fucking painting this picture like where someone to be looked at with skepticism, like, the fuck? Then if that's the case, then what does it say about you guys? Like you're so special? That you're better than? Because if that's the high horse that you're sitting on, people don't sit on their high horse for long. Because there's always going to be something to knock you off that fucking high horse. Remember that. And like I said, you're not going to give a fuck until something, how shall I put it? Until it affects you. Anyway, that's all I got for tonight. I need to get some sleep. I'm tired. Fucking, I don't know. But I hope that my content brings a different perspective than the usual type of ideology or narratives or rhetoric that is spun to indoctrinate and condition people. Yes, I point out certain things that are problematic only for them to be corrected so that we can move forward, so that we all can be identified as Americans as we should. There's too much invested into this country from all of us. But we're too busy looking at our differences, too busy being critical of each other, too busy pointing the finger. And we don't even take the time out to self-reflect ourselves. We don't take a step back. And especially if we don't see other people taking a step back and look at it themselves and like say, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute. Is what I'm saying problematic? Is what I'm saying causing issues and stuff? Because like people were looking at Tucker Carlson or Joe Biden and stuff like that and saying, hey, look at it. But it's like, but what are you doing? How are you any better? And if I talk about white people in particular, I'm saying you guys got to do better and be better. If I talk about black people in particular, you got to do better and be better. And stop giving people ammunition to use for whatever fucking shit that they want to spend to cater to their one-sided narratives. Because I disrupt that as best as I possibly could. You see what I did when it came to the Buffalo, New York individual that did what the fuck he did, and the narrative that I debunked was, oh well, you know, it's funny how a white person could get arrested and stuff after he done did a fucked up thing and be brought in without incident, but you forgot about the DC sniper. I'm just using that as an example of how I am fair and how I balance the scales. I don't just throw one-sided shit out there. I challenge shit. I take people out their fucking comfort zone. I even remove myself out my own fucking comfort zone. Can other people say that? No, the fuck they can't. And that's what makes me different. So when you want to sit there and label me as being divisive, that's your interpretation. But I just told you where I stand and where I'm coming from. No, I'm not divisive. I just see shit differently. But anyway, until next time, until next video, please like, share, and subscribe. Help boost the algorithm. I'll take constructive criticism. What do you think will make my channel, Ricky Mayor's channel, the Debate Me channel, Tough Love's channel, and other small content creators that come with their own unique perspective on things? How can we, or do we have to unite like Voltron and shit and knock out the Ultra Beast? I'm just wondering. Let me know. Tell me what you think. Until next time, until next video, again, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share my content. Tell me if you like my content. Tell me what you don't like about my content. I'm an adult. I'm not hiding. I don't like entertaining retarded or ignorant or stupid, like dumb high school stuff. If you got your grievances about what I said, approach me respectfully. Be well thought out in the things that you wanted to say. And then hit me back. Peace.